Well, the Badwater Ultramarathon is considered the world's toughest foot race. It's 135 miles non-stop from the bottom of Death Valley to the end of the road on Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the lower 48, in the hottest part of the year. So that's why it's considered the toughest race there is.
It's truly the elements, you know, the heat, the winds, yesterday I heard through the news that it was 125, 126.
Badwater is like the Olympics. It's the premier race.
But in Death Valley in July, it's radiating about 100 to 200 degrees up onto the legs and lower body of the runners. And so it's sort of being like in a slow cooking roaster type thing. It's just brutal. And then there are 3 mountain ranges that they go up for about 15,000 feet of elevation gain. So it's extremely difficult.
I didn't really start running until I was 48. I actually ran a marathon with my girlfriend when I was 48, had a ball. And I had always heard about ultra running. I had heard about Western states. I was always fascinated with those people that did distance running. And just on a whim, really, I signed up for a 50K. It was out at Calico Ghost Town by Barstow. Didn't know anybody who ran them. I just thought it sounded interesting. Really didn't expect to even finish it. I just wanted to go for the adventure.
Molly Sheridan has been training for the Badwater Ultramarathon for 2 years. She tried to enter the race in 2008, but was not accepted. She is one of 90 entrants selected for the 2009 race. It's late May. The race is less than 2 months away. Sheridan is undergoing a rigorous training regimen to prepare. She trains at Death Valley, often running 30 to 40 miles at a time.
It's a really different kind of race because you can't do it without a team. You have to have a crew that you pick that follows you every step of the way. They don't have aid stations set up that you run to an aid station like normally in an ultra. You run to the aid station, you get your food and water, and you take off. Your crew is your aid. Your crew is your life support. You have to have, they say really the crew is who gets you to the finish line.
Molly has been meticulously planning for the race with her 6-member crew.
That's the best place. Everybody's up there parked.
Okay.
It's the only place that's a big, giant area.
In order to finish the 135-mile course in 48 hours, Molly plans to run and walk without sleeping. Instead, she will take only short rest breaks. There's no prize money at Badwater. Racers compete for a belt buckle given to runners who finish the course in less than 48 hours. There's nothing left to chance by her and her team. They account for every calorie she will consume and have charted her expected arrival at each station along the way. Badwater race officials require each runner to have a crew. They'll be responsible for keeping Molly going, feeding her 200 calories an hour, and running with her in shifts throughout the race. It will be a grueling race for the crew. They will be working with little or no sleep to keep the runner going.
This is the place to be, Mother Nature's greatest sports arena, and the world's toughest foot race. And I'm just thrilled to be standing up here and salute all of you for being here as athletes, crew, and staff. We just have several hundred just world-class people here with a lot of talents and energy and enthusiasm, and from 17 countries and 19 American states. It's fantastic. So thanks for being here.
I've never been so focused in on a race ever. I feel like this is bigger than me. This is bigger than anything I've jumped on. I feel like it's maybe a little bit out of my league, but I believe I can do it. it's just overwhelming to me at moments. Then other moments I'm thinking, I can do it, I know I can, just get me to the start line.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
The race begins at Badwater, the lowest point in the Western Hemisphere at 282 feet below sea level. From there, runners slowly climb back to sea level, passing through Furnace Creek and Stovepipe Wells. After mile 42, Sheridan will begin the first of 3 steep climbs crossing over Towns Pass. The runners then descend back into Panamint Valley, where they reach the halfway point at Panamint Springs. After Panamint, the course winds over another mountain range to Darwin, the 100-mile mark. This is where the race really begins. From Darwin, runners make their way to Lone Pine, 32 miles away at the foot of Mount Whitney. The last leg of the race is also one of the steepest, covering 5,000 feet in elevation over 13 miles. Molly will have run more than 5 marathons and climbed a total of 13,000 feet when she finishes at Whitney Portal.
It started out pretty much just like I had planned or envisioned, the beginning. I started off really nervous like I knew I'd be. I was really tense and wound up at the start. I felt a little bit out of my league, all the fears and the scary part. I knew that was going to happen. I just kind of dealt with it and I started running. And all I wanted to do was hit my timing goals, which actually I felt like I did getting to Furnace Creek and Stovepipe, although it was hotter than I thought it was going to be.
Sheridan and her crew begin to slow after Stovepipe Wells. As Molly climbs Towns Pass, the sun is setting, and the heat from day one is taking its toll. Unable to keep food down, Sheridan begins to struggle.
50 miles into the race, I started having stomach issues, and they kind of happened really fast. I mean, I'm sick to my stomach, my nutrition's off. The idea of trying to get food down was really challenging, and it set me back. I was surprised that was happening because everything was going like clockwork. But also, it was starting to be night, and I thought it would be cooler. I expected to be cooler going up Towns Pass, and it wasn't. I felt it was just, I was feeling like I was losing control a little bit, so that totally freaked me out, and I didn't expect it that early in the race.
Stopping to care for blisters, Sheridan labors through the night, reaching Father Crowley, the 80-mile mark, shortly after sunrise. She has been on the course for 24 hours. After crossing the 100-mile mark, Sheridan falters again. She has never raced more than 100 miles, and her inability to eat and the heat from the previous day have nearly brought her pace to a crawl.
If I can just wake up a little bit, I can pick up the pace. I'm just falling asleep out there. So.
Yeah, around mile 100, I wasn't there. I got a text saying that she was hurt, and so we came back early, and I hopped out on the course, and she was like, I'm really I need help and stuff. I'm like, all right, you know. So I told her to follow my feet, and that we'd get through it. And so I was like, I gave her a pair of headphones and an iPod, put on some angst music, some techno, and told her to follow my feet, and she did, and we got running a couple times, and we kept the pace up, and it looked like her spirits went really high.
With encouragement from the crew, Molly continues on. She can now see the sun setting over Mount Whitney. There are only 20 miles to go. Sheridan has been racing for 40 hours when she reaches Lone Pine, just 13 miles from the finish line at Whitney Portal. Suffering from blisters, a hurt Achilles tendon, and exhaustion, Sheridan walks with a noticeable limp, and her upper body is leaning to the left.
Not once did she ever say I quit. She said, I need to take a rest. Okay. I need to lie down. Okay. But sometimes when she said, I want to lie down, I said, no, you can't. This is not the place. This is not the time. If you stop now, you're going to be in trouble. But if she really, really needed to take a break, we would let her. But not once did she ever say, I'm finished, I'm done, I'm not going to finish. Not once.
As Molly begins to climb Mount Whitney, she is told the course has been shortened to 131 miles due to a forest fire. To receive the belt buckle, she will have to cross the new finish line in 46 hours. She has 5 hours to climb 9 steep miles. Her pace has slowed to more than 30 minutes a mile. If she does not move faster, she will miss her goal of getting the belt buckle.
You know, I was trying to remind her, hey, look, what are you doing out here? You know, if you're going to break down and just fall apart right here at mile where it was probably, what, 120 or so, what's the point? Why'd you do all this bunch of training? Why'd you bother to waste all this time and money and effort to just fall apart, 20 miles from the finish?
But that last, I don't know, 5 or 6 miles, you're still going straight up. It's just daunting. So it's really, honestly, you just have to have patience, lots of patience. Just keep moving. I knew that my time was good and I had time to, drag myself up there. So
Towards the end of the event, we knew that it was her daughter Bailey that she needed to share that with, and the glow of the buckle, just knowing that that buckle was going to be in her hand, I think that's what got her up the mountain.
Heads here. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Woo. Awesome. Yes. Congratulations.
Baby. George.
Awesome.
I completed the race at 131 miles. I was officially a finisher at 45 hours, 9 minutes.
But when I finally got there, I was like, we did it. And we turned around and looked at where we came from. You could see the cars coming up the mountain. That's when it hit me, when we were there, looking back, seeing what we had come through to get there. That was where it all was like, this is amazing.
Even when she was breaking down, the words never came out of her mouth that I want to quit. So just watching her and seeing her with as much pain as she was in and how badly she was doing, it's just, to me it was inspiring. It made me want to do it more and prove to myself that I can do it for me. Prove that anybody can do it if you put your mind to it. I really think so.
I feel that the average person, I feel like I'm average. Really, I don't have a sports background. I don't have big muscles. I don't have legs like Dean Karnazes. I feel like the average person can do that if they have a desire to put the training in and be, work towards that goal. I think it's a very doable goal. I think the human body is supposed to be moving. It's supposed to be active. It can do so much more than we can ever imagine.